While many are familiar with the twisted bonds of Stockholm Syndrome, where victims feel for their oppressors, few have explored the inverse phenomenon. It's called Lima Syndrome, a psychological anomaly where the person holding the power begins to feel a profound sense of compassion or even love for the person they are controlling. It feels almost contradictory. Why would an aggressor, who has every reason to remain detached, suddenly start to care for their target? Here at Looks Fine Inside, we explore how these extreme emotional shifts reveal the persistent nature of human empathy. Even in the most harrowing circumstances, our biology can force us to bridge the gap between us and them, proving that connection can sprout in the most hostile soil. The name for this condition was forged during a high-stakes standoff in 1996 in Peru's capital. During a gala at the Japanese ambassador's home, a group of armed rebels seized the estate, trapping over 600 high-ranking officials and socialites. Their goal was political leverage, but the atmosphere inside the mansion shifted rapidly. Within weeks, the vast majority of the captives were released for no apparent strategic reason. It wasn't just a tactical error. The captors had begun to see their prisoners as people rather than pawns. They shared meals, traded stories, and the hard edges of their hostility began to dull. At Looks Fine Inside, we analyze these moments where the mask of the enemy slips and the human underneath is finally seen. But what actually causes this reversal of roles? It's hard to fathom why a captor would trade their dominance for concern. First, we have to recognize that empathy is an involuntary reflex. Our brains are equipped with mirror neurons that react when we see someone else in pain, making it physically difficult for some people to stay indifferent to suffering. Second, the crushing weight of high-stakes pressure can actually dissolve emotional barriers. When everyone is trapped in a room together under the threat of disaster, the shared stress can forge an accidental intimacy. Third, there is a strange evolution where total authority turns into a sense of guardianship. When you realize someone's life is entirely in your hands, the urge to crush them can sometimes be replaced by a subconscious need to protect them. Finally, it's nearly impossible to maintain a grudge against someone you've come to know. Every conversation and every shared look acts as a chisel, slowly breaking down the wall of dehumanization until only two people are left. The implications of Lima Syndrome stretch far beyond the headlines of a crime report. We see these same mechanics play out in our ordinary lives. Think of a manager who enters a new role with a cold, iron-fisted approach only to soften into a mentor. Once they witness the personal hurdles their team faces, you see it in parents who realize that rigid discipline is less effective than understanding their child's inner world. Even in lopsided relationships where one person holds the financial or emotional cards, a shift can occur where the person in charge decides to lead with care rather than control. These are the quieter, everyday versions of the same psychological truth. Ultimately, Lima Syndrome serves as a startling testament to the resilience of the human heart. We often fear that power is a poison that inevitably hardens us. And while that is frequently the case, this phenomenon suggests a different path. Influence and control can actually act as a gateway to deep responsibility and unexpected tenderness. It reminds us that even when the environment is defined by fear or inequality, the impulse to be kind can still find a way to the surface. While Stockholm Syndrome captures the public imagination, the psychology behind Lima Syndrome is perhaps more vital for us to understand. It suggests that when we are pushed to our absolute limits, our default setting isn't just survival, it's belonging. We are hardwired to find a way to relate to one another, even when we are supposed to be adversaries. If empathy can survive and thrive in a literal hostage crisis, imagine what it could do for the minor frictions of your life. It is proof that we are designed to see the humanity in others, even through a veil of conflict. Does the drive to connect outweigh our desire to dominate? Join the conversation in the comments, and for more deep dives Into the Mind, make sure to follow Looks Fine Inside. Thank you for spending your time with us today.